Hello and welcome to today's video where we're going to go over the LEC off-season moves between spring and summer split. Obviously this board is full of stats. We're going over stats. Apparently when I titled my MSI All Pros video and said it's 100% based on stats, people were curious why I was using, they were like, but opinion and this or that. It's like, the title said 100% stats. So if you can't read the title, then that sounds like a personal problem. That's how this channel is run. If you're new here, stats are what I fall back on as proof of an opinion or a take. Just simply saying I think therefore it is might as well be useless to me. That's like toilet paper. If you don't have a number to back up an opinion, hell, everyone has an opinion. Anybody can make an opinion, whether they actually know what they're talking about or not. So if you don't have numbers to back up an opinion, I'm not going to give it much time of day. So here we have, what do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 player moves. Some rumored, not official in the GCD, Global Contract Database. If you've been here a long time, you know that I do not like utilizing player move rumors because I don't really trust the journalistic integrity of those that do leak this sort of stuff. So that's kind of a thing. So Giant X, they made a couple moves in the top side of the rift. First things first, Ottawamne is out. The Antonio is in. The Antonio is one of the older top laners in the LEC now, making their debut. They might have some experience in the past. Regardless, these are their spring stats, and they are not super, promising. Solid KDA at 3.8, but a 7.6 CS per minute, 59.2 KP, 1.44 return on investment, gets things done, very involved. Just because they don't have a lot of farm, that's fine. They find a way to, make an impact on the rift. Gold relative to their damage. 20.5 gold share, 22 damage share coming out ahead. However, against the, the Spanish ERL is where Giants play in the ERL. So down 285 gold, 11 CS, 205 XP. If you are struggling that much in the laning phase against ERL competition, I do not have a lot of faith in the player at the higher level to not do worse than that. And in which case, if you spot a top laner, a 15-20 CS lead in a major region, they are more than likely going to punish you for it. So this move definitely has me puzzled. 4 solo kills, 13 champions played in 32 games. Gragas, Kesante, Rumble are his 3 most played. And then you have Ottawamne, one of the best weak side players in the West. Definitely older, but does his job. And in my opinion, does it quite well. If you watched my video when we went over return on investment and shares and things like that, Giant X actually had one of the most efficient top sides in the 4 major regions. So Odo, 2.3 KDA, 8.1 CS per minute, 52.8 KP. These numbers are, not all that inspiring, not super involved, very average in terms of CS, but the KDA is a little below where you'd like. But 1.45 return on investment still is dealing a lot of damage relative to the gold. So still packs a punch, which is important. In the end, he finds a way to deal damage, and that's important. Now, we have to keep in mind the top lane does have facilitators as well, and those players do deserve their flowers. But Odo only had 21.2 gold share, yet 25.2 damage share, which was one of the biggest differences in the 4 major regions. He had an impact on the team, despite them not giving him many resources and the gold going in the pockets of most likely Jackie's and Patrick. Odo still was a solid damage threat, more so than most top laners in the 4 major regions. On average, behind 130 gold, up 1 CS, down 145 XP. So, shoot, that's just slightly behind, if not, it's negligible, that amount. Only 1 solo kill, 12 champions, 27 games. 3 most played, Aatrox, Rumble, and Gnar. Now in the jungle, they have swapped out Peach for Juhan. Juhan, formerly of PSG, as well as DRX, technically has a world skin. So he is a world champion, and he's playing for Giant X right now. Going into this split. 3.3 KDA, 5.8 CS per minute, 70.4 KP in spring on Giants ERL team. It's no shock to me that he was dominant at that level. He is better than ERL tier. He is a tier 1 jungler. He can play in the West and do a fine job. Definitely better than even what Malring did with Rogue. Different type of jungler, though. Keep that in mind. 70.4 KP, so 1.16 return on investment. That's pretty high for a jungler. Very efficient. 19 gold share, 16 damage share. On average, up 220 gold, 5 CS, 170 XP against ERL junglers. 3 solo kills, only 6 champions played in 22 games. Xin Zhao, Volley Bear, his 3 most played. Now, Peach goes and now is playing for Giants in the ERL. Another older jungler, really. I mean, they're 23 and 24 years old, so I guess that's like middle of the group in the 4 major regions. But either way, I don't know if Peach is really going to get much of an opportunity in Tier 1 again. Very reminiscent of Malring, very facilitator-oriented. 2.5 KDA, 5.5 CS per minute, and 79 KP. So 4 out of every 5 kills. Very active. If things were going well for Giant X, Peach had something to do with it. And we saw in the playoffs, was it the playoffs in group stage or was it towards the end of the regular season? Either way, there was a moment where Peach was carrying Giant X and really doing everything that needed to be done. 0.85 return on investment. That goes to show you not a lot of damage coming out of Peach. 18.4 gold share, 13.3 damage share. On average, behind EU junglers, 90 gold, 1 CS, 55 XP, so might as well be nothing. 3 solo kills, 6 champions, 29 games. Sejuani, Xin Zhao, and Rel are his 3 most played. So Giant X, jungle slightly better, top lane definitely worse. So that's a thing. Now we're going to go into KC, who I believe are going. It's going to be a take, but I think that they're going to make playoffs in. Well, that's not a take. 8 out of 10 teams make it. I think that they have a very good chance of getting to season finals as a top 6 team. And people are going to be like, really? And I'm going to say, if you haven't watched my video where I went over like the last 5 or 6 years of LEC and how teams get better from spring to summer, I think 5 out of 6 or 4 out of 5 years, a team has went from being a non-playoff team to a playoff team from spring to summer. And even last year with this present format, both teams that were not in the playoffs in winter, Fnatic and Excel, both ended up in season finals. Does that mean that both KC and Rogue will do it? I don't think so necessarily, but I think KC adding Kana made a big upgrade, like massive. And I should have included Vladi and Seiken on here. I didn't, but I don't edit my content, so that's going to be on tomorrow's video when I go over LCS. I'm going to have to add that in there. I'm not going back and changing things. So, Kana, 3.3 KDA, 8.3 CS per minute, 52.9 KP in the LCK, as well as world stats. These are encompassing 103 games. He is definitely an upgrade over Cabo. He is, in my opinion, immediately second best top laner in the LEC. He's better than Photon, in my opinion, outright. Now, if he can get with the communication and things like that, that is going to be the part that needs to be monitored. If he can get on the same page as the team. Only 9 games to turn it around, but I believe that Kana has the potential to just dominate top lane. Very reminiscent of how Summit dominated the LCS in top lane, and people are going to be like, yeah, but the LCS top lane pool isn't that strong. Kana is better than Summit, so this is a big deal. So 52.9 KP, 1.23 return on investment, went even gold share to damage, 21.1 for both. 145 gold, 2 CS, 95 XP up against LCK top laners. So if he's going positive against LCK top laners, what's he going to do against the European top laners? 26 solo kills, 13 champions in 103 games. Renekton, Jax, K'Sante, his 3 most played. Keep in mind these stats are from last year. Now, Cabochard struggled with KC in top lane. That's no surprise. Definitely left a lot to be desired. An older player that, in my opinion, probably shouldn't have even been playing in the LEC, but KC trying to do some fan service and have French players on the team, and therefore struggled as a result. I do feel bad for Yamato in the part that KC now are making moves for the current coach, and Yamato got stuck with the roster that now clearly needed 3 of 5 players changed going into summer. So 2.1 KDA, 7.7 CS per minute, 54.8 KP, 1.24 return on investment. So CS isn't great, but he's still dealing damage relative to the CS at a high level. So with that in mind, he is doing work. There were moments that definitely made you scratch your head and say, this guy, but at the same time, did deal damage. 20.5 gold share, 20.4 damage share on average, behind 45 CS. 45 CS would be massive. 45 gold, 4 CS, 115 XP, 3 solo kills, 11 champions played in 18 games. His 3 most played, Gnar, Renekton, and Olaf. So the champion pool is massive. In part, that might have been part of the issue. 1, not finding an identity is one thing, but 2, let's just take that champion pool and cut it in half and actually just figure out some champions that we know we can play at a high level, that we can take out on the Rift and are not going to struggle on. Not a great situation. Now, in the jungle, you had Closer. So Closer played with 100 Thieves last year. These stats are from 2023. 3.3 KDA, 5.2 CS per minute, 68.4 KP. These numbers are not great. Not farming well. Was not getting a lot of action in terms of creating. 0.86 return on investment, 18.1 gold share, 13.3 damage share. So let's think about that. 0.86 return on investment, similar to Peach, trying to facilitate, trying to play more tanky and not really deal damage, and then yet still not creating, unlike Peach. Peach created a high level this year. 135 gold behind, but up 2 CS, 145 XP against LCS junglers. 3 solo kills, 12 champions played in 51 games. Wukong, Viego, Sejuani were his 3 most played. Now he replaces Bo. I'm not a massive fan of Bo's style of play. Statistically, at times he looks very good, but he also, in my opinion, treats it like it's solo queue, and then runs it down when the game starts not going his way. And, I think a lot of fans gravitate towards that because it makes them feel more, I don't know, like, are they living vicariously through Bo, who's a solo queue king, and that, oh, look at him run it down, therefore now me running it down in solo queue's okay? I don't know necessarily, like, if you know your team can't identify the play that you're trying to make, you need to try and get them to identify it in scrims, in practice, in VOD review, and make sure you have it before you try and do it again. I mean, that seems to be the excuses. He sees the play, but yet, we're going to blame the other players because they don't see it. And it's like, well, it's been this way for him for what, a year and a half now? So what's the excuse? What's the excuse at this point? Like, it's been a year and a half. You've got to either you've got to dumb it down for people or look for plays that they can see or do whatever you got to do. But the LPL doesn't want him back, right? So that's a thing. 1.7 KDA, 6.1 CS per minute, 71.2 KP. Carry-oriented jungler. Farms his face off, gets fed, and then if things don't go his way, runs it down. 1.14 return on investment, 19.1 gold share, 17.8 damage share. Up 90 gold, 7 CS, 255 XP. Great early game numbers because he does farm very heavily. 1 solo kill, 10 champions in 18 games. Vi, Xin Zhao, Viego are his 3 most played. Now SK, they made some moves, and big Rahel supporter a couple of years ago with DK Challenger. They by far have the best prospect pool in the world. Their scouting department is second to none. They continue to pump out great players. They have more great players still on their roster now. And Rahel was kind of the one that seemed to get passed over too much, in my opinion. I thought that, honestly, he should have been playing last year instead of Deft, right? Deft played with Don Monkia last year. Yes. So that's kind of how I felt about that situation, right? Yeah, because Deft's playing with KT this year. Deft's been all over the place last year. So, Rahel, these numbers, keep in mind, 6 Senna games out of 59. So, what, 11% of the games are Senna. So, the CS, we can ignore pretty much. 4-6 KDA, 65-4 KP. So, involved in just under 2 out of every 3 kills for DK Challenger. 1.47 return on investment, 23.2 gold share, 27.2 damage share. On average, behind CK bot laners, 245 gold, 2 CS, 45 XP. Those numbers actually don't mean much because of the Senna games. 3 solo kills, 13 champions, 59 games. Lucian, Varus, and Senna were his 3 most played. Now, Exakick, a player that I think is super talented. I thought he deserved an opportunity back in 2022 and called for his promotion. So the fact of the matter is, I think he should still be starting for SK. Is he better than Rahel? It's tough. I don't watch Academy. I'm not going to pretend that I've watched Rahel. Statistically, he's been strong for a long time. It's just, Exakick, I think, has a ton of potential. And I do worry if it was he and Doss, like a deal like that going on, where he was going to, if Doss was being kicked, then Exakick was going to go with him. And it's tough. I think Exakick, honestly, could be, a lot of people are calling for Karzi on G2. I think Exakick on G2 would be a great decision, personally. I really do. That, or even like if KC can't, well, KC are going to bring up Kalist next year. So, honestly, I think that would be a great home for him. 3.5 KDA, 9.2 CS per minute, 67.7 KP. So, over 2 out of every 3 kills involvement, 1.44 return on investment, 24.5 gold share, 27 damage share. I mean, very, very tough split out of Exakick. Very tough split out of SK's bot duo. Last year, they had some really great moments, and then things kind of went downhill. But like I said, a very young player that I think has a ton of potential. Behind 90 gold, 5 CS, 280 XP, 2 solo kills, 10 champions in 33 games. 2 of those 33 were Senna games, so not a ton of Senna in his pool. Zeri, Kalista, and Varus, his 3 most played. Now, at support, you have HH. And this is an interesting situation. So they've brought in Rahel from DK Challenger, and they've brought in HH from Nongshim Challenger. So you've combined 2 players that have not played together for a 9-game season in hopes of getting into playoffs. That sounds pretty sloppy to me. I don't know if this is a long-term plan or not. If it's not, I would say it's extremely sloppy to do that. I think it's very risky. I don't really get it, personally. I don't get doing that. I mean, at that point, you should have brought in, I don't even know if they could have brought in Thumb. Did Loopy play for DK last year, or did he play for Genji? I know Thumb was around, and I don't know if he's even 18. Something's got to give here. And Double H is playing 3 KDA, 73 KP, 0.65 return on investment, more of a traditional support. This year in Challenger, 3.29 return on investment, placed about 9 wards every 5 minutes, a control ward every other minute, clears about 1 ward every 3 minutes to 2 wards every 5 minutes. 11 champions in 59 games. Nautilus, Rel, Nami were his 3 most played. 4 of these 59 games were Senna games. So Senna being played by Vital, who he played alongside on Nongshim Red Force. And then we have Doss. Like I said, Doss left a lot to be desired at times. Frankly, his numbers were good across the split, but there were just moments that were like, okay, Doss, what are we doing here? 4 KDA, 75.7 KP. So think about that. Exakick 67.7, but Doss above 75. So he got around the rift. He made things happen. More involved than Exakick was in 3 out of every 4 kills. 0.67 return on investment, so a traditional support as well. 3.55 vision score per minute, placed over 10 wards to almost 11 wards every 5 minutes. 2 control wards every 5 minutes, and cleared two wards every 5 minutes. So very efficient when it came to warding. Oftentimes you see the control wards a lot higher than the cleared wards, and I mean, we could add in the 80 carry alongside him to figure out where that gold's going. But either way, not a lot of control ward usage. We do see some people in the community not believe control wards are as valuable as others. 9 champions in 33 games. Rakan, Renata, Nautilus, his 3 most played. And then lastly, we have Vitality. So a move I definitely didn't like. Linkus is a player that deserves an opportunity, has deserved an opportunity for a hot minute now. And I can't believe his contract allowed him to leave. That's the first, I mean, honest to God, seeing how terrible, teams are able to be towards players when it comes to contracts. Like, I don't know what player agents are doing. I don't know why. Players don't get a proper lawyer to read their contract and pay him $100. I don't know how much. I mean, look at your contract. Do you want to get screwed or not? I don't know how much is too much, but at the same time, a lot of these contracts absolutely suck for these players. And in Europe, it's worse than pretty much everywhere else. You see oftentimes players in prisons and being screwed. So to see him able to leave was a shock to me. Now, 3.9 KDA, 5.5 CS per minute, 72.4 KP with KC in LFL. 0.85 return on investment, 17.6 gold share, 12.4 damage share. On average, I had 115 gold, 2 CS, 175 XP in ERLs. 3 solo kills, 14 champions in 40 games. Vi, Rel, Viego are his 3 most played. Linkus is, like I said, a player that deserved an opportunity. He's deserved an opportunity for a while. Statistically, has been strong for a while, but he is a rookie. And a lot of people are like, well, Douglas is a young player. This is why they made the move. It's like, no, that doesn't fly with me in the way that you are going to say, we're going to get a more experienced player who also has no Tier 1 experience. You've replaced a rookie with a rookie. Now I understand he's a little older and has more ERL games under his belt, but Douglas, I am super high on Douglas. Personally, I thought Douglas, and I don't know if it was because of age or not, last year when 113 took Astralis' deal, and probably set back his career by doing so, was a very bold move, and I give him a lot of credit for doing that. But Douglas was definitely better than 113. He deserved that opportunity. Douglas should have been recruited by LCS teams last year, in my opinion, and Douglas should be getting recruited now by teams, and maybe his contract sucks in the way that he can't leave or have an opportunity to get a promotion, but Douglas should be in a Tier 1. He should not have lost his job. It's a terrible, terrible move for a player that I personally believe has one of the highest ceilings and most potential in the West easily. Out of junglers, he is number 1. He might be the number 1 prospect outright. It's he or Kalist. So it's like Douglas it is a shame. So 3.4 KDA, 5.4 CS per minute, 74.7 KP. So 3 out of every 4 kills for Vitality he was involved in. He made things happen. Were there games where, oh my God, yes, he's a rookie. He's a young player. He's going to make mistakes. But to call for a replacement for him and then bring in another rookie, I don't understand really what you're expecting here. You're still going to get mistakes because they're a rookie against better players than they've ever played against on stage. So that's a thing. 0.98 return on investment, more carry-oriented, deals more damage than Linkus does. 17.8 gold share, 13.1 damage share, 60 gold up, down 10 XP. So went even against LEC junglers in his debut as one of the youngest players in LOL Esports. 5 solo kills, 11 champions in 36 games, Rel, Maokai, Volibear. I've been saying it all offseason since this move happened. That's a terrible move. That is, looking at the board here, the worst move. That's worse than the Antonio for Odo, in my opinion, because at least that one, I can make sense of. You're playing fan service. You don't even care. That's what I think of that. This is being dressed in a certain way, and personally, I don't buy it. And I've even seen people on the Discords, the rumor mill. I fucking hate the rumor mill. I don't like playing in the mud with the rumors and things like that. And people were saying some of the effect of this was always going to happen. That Link has had a not a handshake agreement, but he was in good standing with Vitality's staff, and this was always going to happen. In which case, Douglas did not deserve this. Should have been allowed to seek other opportunities if that was always going to be the case. So, thank you for watching this video. Tomorrow I'll do the Vladdy and Seiken part. Just an oversight by myself. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, like it. Subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter. Join the Discord. Become a YouTube supporter. And hope to see you again tomorrow.